Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Brandon. Welcome to Audio Addiction, where you can find latest album reviews. You can find our band interviews, and you can find live coverage of the concerts that we get. I've been pretty quiet as of lately, doing more band interviews than album reviews, but getting back into the swing of things. I'm doing this one, Cold Rain's newest record, as well, and a few others to add to the list. I know Post Malone released a new record. I might be doing a review of that. So if you're interested in that, let me know. And if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, hit that like. It goes a long way. But tonight, we're going to be talking about Grayscale's newest record, Nella Vita. So before I start the review off, I want to give a massive thanks to Adam Splitter PR for sending this over early. I know that the record has already come out already, but I felt remiss to not do a review of it. I did a review of their other record, Adornment. If you haven't checked that out, go do so. But I've been a fan of this band for a while. They are local to my area, Philadelphia, and they've been really just blowing up as of recently. And when I found out that they were recording a new record, I was interested to see if whether or not they were going to keep kind of a similar vibe or maybe go out of the park and do something different. So I'm going to go through each track, give you my thoughts and opinions on all of them, go through some pros and cons, and then finish it out with an overall rating. So the first track is called Just Right. I really dig the sort of layered effect throughout the entire song, whether it be vocally, instrumentally. I think that they do a great job of kind of creating a interesting atmosphere. And I feel like sonically this record is far, far, far different than Adornment. There are some songs that I feel like they borrow from in terms of sound, but I would say a lot of it is definitely influenced by like a lot of 80s pop. I would say bands like Paramore's newest record, as well as the 1975, which is another really big band. But I feel like those two bands are the bands that I can think of right off the bat, and just like, again, 80s pop in general. But getting back to the track, I think that is the sort of layered effect is best highlighted in things like the intro, and I would say primarily a lot of the verses in this song, which is definitely cool. As well as I like that they just went all out in terms of instrumentation. A lot of it is like some really awesome synth lines and like melodies and things of that nature, but as well as that, I think they have some really awesome piano work as well. I don't know which person did the piano in the record, but it came out great. I love the clarity of all the instruments. I know that they went with the Machine Shop. Shout outs to my boy Julian. I know he helped on this record, so I wanted to give him some love. But it just has a beautiful clarity to it that I feel like is really just kind of accents this band in a really nice way. And just it has just this beautiful clarity to it. I think for me, just throughout this entire track, I was really impressed by just how many layers were really like methodically put out, where it doesn't feel like it is just like a mess. It really feels very organized and very thought out, very methodical. But definitely has a beautiful like kind of pop influence to it, as well as just being super like catchy, upbeat, a fun track to start the record off right. And again, the clarity throughout this entire record really got me. So we're gonna move into track number 2, which is Baby Blue. I believe this one was one of the more recent singles that have been released, and as soon as I listened to this track, I already knew it was a straight bop. Love the groove in this track. I think it is what really kind of sold me on this one, and just kind of sold me on the change of their musical direction. It definitely has a more pop-centric sound, but they just turned it up a notch, and it's just super infectious. Again, as I had mentioned previously in Just Right, this one has a lot more sort of 80s pop influence to it as well, just kind of layered throughout the track. I think the instrumentals in terms of other bands, like I had mentioned prior, Paramore and then 1975, I feel like their instrumentals are definitely on par with what they're doing currently. And it's just one of those ones that I feel like, immediately when you start hearing the song, you'll definitely be singing along in the chorus. It just got that just awesome, infectious hook that I felt like, not that Adornment wasn't great, I felt like this just takes it up a notch, and they were able to kind of create something that feels different and feels unique to what I originally know what Grayscale is to be. So we're going to move into track number 3, which is Inviolate. This is the first single that they released, and I will say that I wasn't sold on this track initially. I had listened to it a few times, and I feel like Grayscale are really talented writers, but as I kept listening to this song, even before I got like the stream of it, it just started to grow on me, and it just became one of just a really great song. And I think that it just feels so well in sort of the context of the record. I think as a single, I wasn't really on it as much per se. However, just in the context of the record, I feel like it fits so much better with their sound, with the vibe of the record, and as well as that, I feel like it was their first initial song kind of changing up what they do, and I felt like it was just kind of like an interesting change. But now, having listened to the entire record, it makes a lot of sense, and I'm glad that they chose this one as a single, because I think it really highlights their new sound, and it does a great job of introducing that. Big hooks, big chorus, and I love the horn section at the end, I think the last chorus / bridge kind of hybrid. It's just really thought out. It's really methodical, and I don't think I gave it enough credit upon first listen. So we're going to move into track number 4, which is Young. This one struck me as a radio-friendly track. I'm not saying like their songs aren't radio-friendly, but this one feels much aligned with the path that they are about to go on in terms of just like pop stuff. Feels very much like a pop song that I would hear on sort of like a at least for my area, a 104.5, which is like an alternative radio station. They play like 21 Pilots, stuff like that. Shouts to them in Philly. But this one, again, feels very much along the lines of a straightforward sort of pop song. And I really feel like it's a solid song. It didn't really impress me. The thing that impressed me most about this track is that they were able to create a pop song that feels not like that feels very much like a pop song in their style. So kudos to them on doing it. It's just not one that I felt like struck me like the other couple that I've talked about now. So we're gonna move into track number 5, which is Twilight, My Heaven. This one's one of my favorites, and I feel like a lot of people will enjoy this track, much to my surprise that it feels very much aligned with Adornment. It almost feels like kind of like a B-side off of Adornment. It has, those really catchy pop elements to it in sort of a pop punk voice. And so, it has that sort of like edge to it, but not too much edge that I feel like it takes away from their sort of pop rooted influences now. Obviously their older stuff is well rooted in pop punk, and I don't think they'll ever really kind of get rid of it, which is great, because I do feel like they make some really solid pop punk tracks. But I like that they've incorporated both new and old elements, and I think it is very well done in this track, and I think it is highlighted extremely well as too. So we're moving to track number 6, which is Old Friends. I believe this was another single that they had released. This one's definitely more softer, more melodic. I think it's one of the sort of oddball songs. I think it is solid. I think that it's a nice change of pace. Sits about halfway. actually is the halfway point in the record, and I think it's a nice palate cleanser, but nothing really particularly speaks out to me in terms of the song's prowess. So we're gonna move into track number 7, which is Painkiller Weather. This one's one of my favorites, and every time that I come back and listen to this one, I think I love it even more. It does have some moments from Endorment, their previous record that I keep mentioning. And much to my surprise in sort of Twilight, this one also kind of blends a lot of old and new elements into one song. But I feel like the chorus is just one of those things that is just super infectious. It just has that sort of bubbly pop sprinkle to it, and it's really hard to explain. Explain it. Obviously, you can listen to it as well, but it was one of those songs that I was sold to right on the bat, and then once we got to the chorus, I was all in, no holds bar. Definitely enjoyed it. Another super catchy chorus, as I had mentioned before, and this one definitely has the hooks to it. I love the little guitar solo that they did from the 1 minute and 55-second mark to around the 2 minutes and 15-second mark. I think they did a really nice job of incorporating it. It doesn't feel out of place, and obviously it fits well into the song. So we're going to move into track number 8, which is What's on Your Mind. This one, I think, is by far the black sheep of the record. It is very different. There's maybe another track that I'll be talking about a little bit later on, In My Arms. I feel like those two are definitely the ones that threw me for a loop, but they're just so well executed that I was just stoked on them. So getting back to What's on Your Mind, this one's one of my favorites as well. I think that it definitely has a strong 80s pop influence, as if I'm not overselling that so much on this review, but it definitely has that feel to it, and it's honestly a bop. I love it. Super catchy, super infectious, and it's something different for them. I feel like it is a little bit more electronic focused. It has a lot more of a synth rooting to it, and I think it just works with the sound that they're going for, and it just, I don't know, it's just something about it that every time I listen to it, it just makes me happy. So we're gonna move into track number 9, which is Asbury. If you're in a pop punk or like pop rock band, you gotta have one of those soft acoustic tracks, and this one is definitely that track, Asbury. Generally it's pretty straightforward, nothing too crazy. I feel like obviously shows a lot of their vulnerability and the range of their vocalists, but nothing too much to write home about. I think it was well executed. It's a solid song, but nothing really stuck out to me like some of the other ones have. So we're gonna move into track number 10, which is Desert Queen. This one's one of my favorites as well, and the beginning intro reminds me a lot of Boys Like Girls, especially the song Great Escape. It's pretty close. I wouldn't say it's exact, but that was the song that like immediately came to my head when I listened to this song. I was like, this intro sounds very familiar. Maybe not, like I said, exactly the same, but very close within the ballpark. But I love this sort of like ambient, open, reverberated sort of sounds that came out in this track. You can definitely hear a lot of the space that is brought out instrumentally. I would say more so in the drums, which are fantastic, and it's probably one of the biggest selling points, I would say, on this record in terms of this song. Really solid. I think it's something different that they're doing. It has more of an ambiency to it, and I think it really works with the way that this song came out. So we're going to move into track number 11, which is my personal favorite, In My Arms. I think this is by far, landslide, best track off the record. It has this really awesome sort of funky, groovy vibe to it, and the bass line super tight, the instrumentals from the guitars, the drums, the vocals, I think really work in tandem well. Like I had mentioned earlier, this feels very, 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 very influenced by the 1975. I can hear that sort of vibe. I can almost get some bits of like Chocolate as well, but really enjoyed this one. The chorus is fire. I love it, and I think that they did everything right in this track. It's got some hooks. It's got some really unique sort of instrumentation going on. There's some awesome piano arrangement going on throughout the track. And I think it is one of their best songs, if not their best songs that they've ever written. I really feel like you won't be able to find another infectious song like this. I think Baby Blue might be a close second, honestly, on this record, but In My Arms, definitely a bop. Love it. Go check it out if you haven't already. So we're going to move into track number 12. I was going to say 11 again, but I didn't, so I'm glad I caught myself. But track number 12, which is Tommy's song. And this one's one of my favorites too, and I think that I wasn't really sold on it just because I loved In My Arms, and I thought they should have ended it that way on just kind of like a super like happy, fun, positive note. But that was before I listened to this song, and I think this one was very good. I think it took every aspect of what I liked, or what I felt like was kind of a little bit bare bones, straightforward about Asbury, but kind of elevated it. And I love the piano work for like I'd say most of the song. It's about maybe like 3/4, 2/3 of the song, and it just works. The vocals, the honesty, the emotions that you feel in the song, it's very powerful. And I love that they did a big chorus at the end. I think it really kind of sells home that emotional vibe, that thing that you feel. Like the first time listening to it, I honestly and truly got goosebumps about it, just because it felt very honest, it felt very personal, and it was just beautifully arranged, both from the sort of guitars, drums, bass, but also the piano work. I feel like that's heavily understated on this record, and I think it's one of the best parts of this record, that they were just so honest, and then they tried a lot of different things. So great closing track to finish out the record with. So we're going to go through some pros and cons. I think that one of the bigger cons, especially if you're an older Grayscale fan, is that this record is by far different than anything that they've ever done. I think if you're a huge fan of Adornment or any of their previous work, which I am forgetting now because it's super late, you may not like this record. However, from somebody who likes Adornment and their older work, I wanted to go with an open mind and kind of listen to something different, and I feel like they brought it on this record. It's just got a different mood to it, which is awesome. I love that they changed it up, and I love when bands kind of do something different that's out of their comfort zone and that people may or may not like. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and I feel like in this case they really did a fantastic job. I think tracks like I said, In My Arms, Tommy's song, Painkiller Weather, What's on Your Mind, I would say even like Baby Blue, those are all tracks that, again, if I was going to show some of my friends that have no idea what this type of genre is, and I showed them those songs, I feel like they would definitely enjoy them. It's poppy, it's infectious, it's catchy, and I think it's really what they are doing now, and I think it fires on all cylinders, and I'm excited to see what they do next. I think it was a very good record. I think it has a lot of pop hooks to it, and I think they were executed super well. Like I had mentioned, a lot of my favorite songs were one of those ones that were just kind of off the cuff, kind of like interesting versions of what they do. So go give this one a listen. My overall rating for Grayscale's Nella Vita, I'm going to be giving it a 9.5 out of 10. I think it's one you should go give a listen to. Check the links in the description to find out about Grayscale. And they're on tour now, which is awesome, promoting this new record. And I definitely feel like it's worth it to check out. Even if you're, an old fan and you want to have old Grayscale, I think that give it a listen once through and let me know what you think. And if you do love it, let me know what your favorite tracks are in the comments. If you agree with me, if you disagree, I'd love to have a conversation. I think it went very well with the Wage War record, so I'm excited to see what people think about this one as well. So let me know in the comments what you think about it. Like I said, if you enjoyed this review, make sure to like, share, subscribe. It goes a long way. And check out all the other content that we have on the channel. Always doing something. There's always something coming out. So keep your eyes peeled for new content to come. And like I said, my name is Brandon. We hope you got your fix, and we'll be talking with you soon. Peace. Guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Of course, if you enjoy what we do, make sure to go check out the other series we do. We do album reviews, we do band interviews, and we do live videos, so definitely go check that out. Hit that subscribe button. It really helps our channel, helps us grow. Make sure to hit that like button as well. Go follow us on social media. That's all down below. We try to keep that as updated as possible. We also made a new website where we'll be posting photos of upcoming concerts and stuff like that, which you can go check out at audioaddictionmedia.com and come get your fix with us, guys. Talk to you later. Deuces.